it's Cheryl Miller, Mayor of Cheryl Millerville, and we're in part 2 of the segment on emotional wellness at work. It's a really important topic. One question I was asked to answer is, if your coworkers have negative attitudes, can that affect your health? And if so, what can you do about it? And my answer to that is one big ugh. Yes, people with negative attitudes are very draining. Try to avoid them like the plague. Be kind, but slip away. What I usually do is I say, "Hey, hi, how you doing?" And then I gotta go, and I whip off another direction so that I don't have to expend any energy talking to them. There's one woman in particular that used to hop cubicle to cubicle telling everybody her sad stories, and whenever I would see her coming, I'd say, "Hey, how you doing? Gotta go," and that's the way I dealt with it. So, you don't have to put up with people with negative attitudes, and let's hope that you're not one of the people with the negative attitude. We all go through that sometimes, but we want to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. So another piece of that is to avoid being sucked in by the drama and sex appeal of gossip. If you're forced to work with these people that gossip a lot, ask your manager to maybe make an announcement to the whole group saying, "Hey, it's really important when we work in a team to work together, have positive attitudes, keep it really work focused, keep upbeat," and enlist the management in helping to turn that kind of a thing around so that you don't have to do that single-handedly. It's really important. And like I said, be careful not to be one of the people spreading the negative attitude. Occasionally it happens to all of us, but we want to kind of put the brakes on that. You may have noticed that I wear this purple bracelet. I really like it because it reminds me not to complain, and every time I complain, I have to switch it to the other hand, and and I like to do that because I like, how long can I go without complaining? And the program that I bought it from is a 21-day program. If you can go 21 days without complaining, then you've kind of passed. If you complain on day 3, you have to move the bracelet to the other wrist, and then you have to start back again at day 1. So you might buy a bunch of these bracelets and pass them out to your coworkers and say, "Hey, let's do this competition. Let's see how long we can go without complaining. See if you can uplift the energy there." The website that you would want to go to is called acomplaintfreeworld.org. You can read all about it. You can buy the bracelets. It's a really kind of a nifty idea. The next question is, some companies offer an employee assistance program. The short name for that is EAP, where you can go to get counseling. And the question is, what are some of the reasons and emotional signals that would warrant using the employee assistance program? Well, I'm a big fan of employee assistance program. I've either worked in or managed one for 20 years, and I've seen just how beneficial they can be. The employee assistance program helps with all kinds of stresses, like problems with coworkers, spouses, teenagers, alcohol or drug abuse, domestic violence, financial and legal issues, daycare, geriatric care, all those things that keep you up at night and keep you thinking about your worries instead of being productive. EAPs were produced in the first place because employers were concerned about employees being so stressed that they weren't actually at their jobs doing the work of the day because they were on the phone with their kids, they were spending time doing some other things instead of working. So it's a real productivity tool to use the EAP, and it also really helps. It's a really great tool for employees too, to help reduce their stresses, because there are a lot of stresses on the planet, aren't there? So we get to use all of the employee resources better if we're tapped into those kind of resources. You can get counseling and other community resources at an EAP, so I highly, highly recommend it. Find out if your company offers an EAP, and if they do, definitely find out about what kind of services they have, and be thinking about, how can I use that service? How can I test it out? How can I try it out? Another question that I have is, when feeling fatigued and stressed at work, what are some quick mental exercises to reset your state of mind? That's a really important thing, because the mental piece of emotional wellness is huge. It's a huge, huge part of the emotional wellness piece. So If you're fatigued and stressed at work, one of the things you want to do is start first with the body, because that's kind of a little bit easier to tap into sometimes. And look at your lifestyle habits. Are you getting enough high quality deep sleep? Are you eating foods that help keep your energy up? Or are you relying on those energy drinks that provide really mostly stimulants and a false sense of energy? If you look on the ingredients of those drinks, you see there's basically water, sugar, a vitamin pill, and a whole bunch of caffeine. So why would you want to pay a lot of money for that when you could just, drink a cup of coffee and take a vitamin? So anyway, it's something to look at. Just start looking at the labels of those energy drinks. I think you'd be real interested to see what you can see. So another little way you might be wearing yourself out or stressing yourself out is if you're kind of an anxious type, or if you worry. If you are, call the EAP and find out what you can do about that. There are lots of things you can do to reduce worry and anxiety. Talking with a counselor or a close friend really helps. Okay, as far as de-stressors go, things that you can just do instantly to de-stress is one of my favorites that works really fast is to take a couple of deep, slow breaths. You know, we think we need breathing lessons. I think we really do, because we tend to move so fast through life that we don't breathe as deeply as we need to. So you breathe all the way down to the bottom of your lungs and slowly let all that air out, and then breathe really deeply again. Try it out. It'll immediately relax you. One of these days I'll talk about the physiology of why that works so well. You might also look at a beautiful picture of nature that you have hanging in your office, or you might close your eyes and be still for just a minute or two. Just be still. And if you have an extra minute, while you have your eyes closed and you're being still, take a mini vacation. It's kind of like an internal trip to one of your favorite places, the beach, the mountains, the ocean, your backyard, your deck, wherever it is, and just take a couple of minutes to take a little vacation to go to that place in your mind and release the tensions of the day. I think you'll find it's very relaxing. Another thing I like to do is read an inspiring quote or a positive affirmation. Post these in your office as well, so that you can remind and switch them around, so you don't get so used to seeing it that you read it and really don't see it. And as we talked about a little earlier, reframe the negative thought from, oh, I just can't stand it, and reframe that to, this stress is temporary. Really, everything is temporary, even the good stuff. Everything's temporary, good, bad. So think about the stressors being temporary, and that you have some options for reducing it, and the responsibility for doing that is yours. So you have the power to do that. And then keep your focus on what you can do rather than what you cannot do. That makes a huge difference. Focus on the can do rather than the can't do. And then accept what is. Don't take it personally. A lot of times we think, it's all, but, all of us are self-centered, and so we all think that it's all focused on us. But really, most things happen for other reasons. They don't have anything to do with personally offending us. So try not to take things personally. And the final thing is, if your stress is really ongoing, consider making a move. Be proactive. Get some help. Get things in motion. You can take things into your own hands and see if you can make a better life. So that's the end of part 2 of Emotional Wellness at Work. Thank you so much for listening. Signing off now, it's Cheryl Miller, Mayor of Cheryl Millerville, where we learn to live healthy, happy lives in this lifetime. Thanks for listening.